Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's KLFX here. So is crypto ready to hit an all-time high, right? So that's the question that I kind of been asking myself for the past couple of weeks, especially because we've been seeing a lot of speculation, especially from the news like Bloomberg, and there are a lot of people that even asked me to make a video on crypto because they were also speculating that maybe crypto is ready to go all the way up, especially since the beginning of 2023. We've been seeing crypto actually pushing towards the upside, right? So in this video, we'll try to decipher that from a technical analysis perspective. If we already have the sign of bullish intention, right? So, and I'll try to make this video short. I actually just look at crypto and Ethereum, right? And we will try to decipher that from a technical analysis perspective, if crypto is ready to start to go bullish, right? So let's start from Bitcoin USD and let's go all the way to monthly time frame, right? So if we look at the monthly time frame, we hit an all-time high previously at around almost 70K, right? So when we look at what's going on is that we had this strong push towards the upside right here. We had this previous high, then we had this low. So let me just use the brush tool. So we had this high, and then we had this swing low right here. And then we had a break of structure towards the upside. And what was responsible for that was this decisional internal low right here. So this, we had the pullback, we had the sweep of liquidity right here, then price pushed aggressively towards the upside, and it left so many imbalances right here, right? So imbalances, I'm pretty sure you guys already know, is that when we have all this bullish momentum to the upside, that means that we had more buyers than sellers. So sellers, they couldn't counter this buy move. That's why it left so many imbalances. So eventually, when price goes all the way up, it has to come down to correct inefficiencies and continue to move towards the upside, right? So that's pretty much what we can see from the monthly time frame, and is that price now is currently coming down to correct the imbalance in. And if you see what happened here is that we had this high, then price made this low, and price actually failed to close above this previous high. So this was already a sign of bullish sentiment in the market depleting, and sellers came in, pushed price down. And we can see this huge momentum right here, these huge candles right here, right? So these were just signs that maybe crypto was ready to do a pullback. Then we had some sort of change of character here, some mitigation, and price continued to drop towards the downside. Now, when it comes to order blocks, right, let me just zoom in for you guys to see. We have this down candle before the up move that went on to finally take out this previous high. And we can see that we still have some sort of fair value gap right here, which is imbalance, right? It's just another term, another nomenclature for the same thing, right? Imbalances. So we just had this imbalances sitting below, which is another reason as to why price needs to come back. So I actually made a video on the confluences to validate an order block. I'll leave the link on the description for you guys to see. So we have imbalances here. We have a huge momentum after this down candle, and then it went on to break structure, right? So that's just valid confluences as to why price needs to pull back to this zone. But also we have this point of interest right here, right? And if you look at what's going on at this point of interest, we had this week, which is higher than the next week. So that means that this week was the last point of sellers exhaustion before buyers came in, pushed price up. So there is still resting orders at this week. So there is a possibility, right, that price may come all the way down to this point, and then we may see price towards the upside, right? So that's just from the monthly time frame. Now, looking at let me drop down to weekly time frame. If we look at the weekly time frame, is that the structure, the overall structure from a swing structure perspective, the structure is still bearish. We have this low, and then we have this high, and then price made this new low. And now price is pretty much pulling back towards the extreme, grabbing this liquidity right here, right? And then we're more likely to see some sort of reaction here, and then price continue towards the downside. So in order for me to really think about buying Bitcoin right now, I will need to see some sort of two breaks of structures on the weekly time frame. So far, when we look at the swing structure, the weekly is still bearish. Pretty much this move right here, right at the start of the year, that pretty much made a lot of people feel like, okay, crypto is ready to Bitcoin is ready to go all the way to the upside. It's just price coming towards this supply zone at the extreme. I think if I drop down to daily time frame, we may see this zone. Maybe let me just use the 2 days. Yes, we have this nice candle right here, right? Which and we can see the imbalances that was left right here, right? So this was just another reason as to why price needed to come up here. So once price taps my daily point of interest, usually I would look for 4-hour change of character, so then I can sell all the way down. So far from the weekly time frame, there is no sign of bullish intention yet. Pretty much this bullish move right here that made people feel like, okay, crypto is ready to go all the way up. It was just a pullback, right, towards the extreme supply zone. And most likely we will see price actually dropping towards the downside. And we can see that we had a break right here, right? This change of character. The price swept the previous high, failed to close above. We had a break of structure, so it left imbalances. So it's more, it's very valid for price to come to this supply zone, and then we see that move towards the downside, and we can see so many imbalances left right here, right? So that's just it for Bitcoin. Simple. We start from the monthly, we drop down to weekly and daily, and we can see that if I go back to the weekly time frame, we can see that the structure is still bearish. So I will need to see price actually taking out this previous high, mitigate, and then give me a second break, and that's when I can really agree that, okay, crypto is ready to go all the way to the upside, right? But so far, crypto is still bearish. So price pretty much just came to the extreme supply zone, and we're more likely to see price actually dropping towards this point of interest below. Okay, so let's move to another pair. So here we are on Ethereum. So let's go also to monthly time frame. So as we can see, pretty much the price action seems very similar to Bitcoin. So we can see that we had this previous high, then we had this structure low, and price then made this high right here. We actually had a body closure above this one. So our swing structure is this one right here, right? So price pretty much came all the way to about almost 5K, right? So I'm still, then we had this huge drop to the downside. Pretty much the whole 2022 crypto was just bearish, right? Ethereum and Bitcoin and Ethereum were just bearish. Now, what I'm waiting for, if I zoom in, right? We have this order block right here sitting below, right? We can see that we had this down candle. We had this another one right here, which was still inside the range of this black candle. Then we had this huge momentum, right? So we can see that we had huge momentum buying, and banks and financial institutions stacked up, large chunk of orders right here, and they left imbalances still, right? So we still have imbalances. So that's another reason as to why price needs to come down to this order block. And it was responsible for finally taking out this swing structure high, right? So overall, from the monthly time frame, the structure on Ethereum is bullish. Now, what I said in the beginning was that we had this huge momentum to the upside, and it left so many imbalances. Eventually, price needs to pull back to correct the inefficiencies, right? Pretty much make the price action efficient, and then we may see that continuation towards the upside. So I'm expecting price to come around $500. $500, right? That's pretty much what I'm expecting to see for Ethereum, right? So right here, we can see that on the monthly still bullish, right? But price is just doing this huge pullback. So let's drop down to the weekly time frame. So once we get to weekly time frame, I think I would love to use the daily to explain this this structure right here. Right. So if we look at what's going on right here, is that we had this previous structure low, right? And then price created this high, this pullback right here. We can see this one right here, right? It created this pullback, and then it finally went on to create a new low right here. So the range is still this high, and we have this range low. Everything that is happening here is just internal structure price action, right? So we can see that within that range, we had this daily change of character right here. Price came back, we had about 50% mitigation, right, of this range high and low, right? And that's a very important thing right here, because when it comes to break of structure and mitigation, I like to see at least above 50%, which is the premium level, right? So if we if I use the fib, we can see the price actually went above 50%. So that was a very nice premium zone for sales. Then we had the second break. Now price pulled back, but we still have what? Imbalances left right here on this second break. We still have imbalances up here. And price pretty much just created this inducement right here, right? Pretty much to induce people to trade, especially after this break of structure. There were so many people that are trying to sell right here. They got stopped out already, right? So we have this extreme order block. I think if I use the 2 days, it's more, I think it's more visible. Yes, we have this nice last up candle before this huge move right here. We can still see imbalance left right there. And we can see the liquidity build up right here that has been engineered. And we can see there's relative equal highs. I mean, let me just change the template. So we have liquidity sitting here. So there is a possibility that we may see price actually pull, coming all the way up here, grabbing that liquidity. And then we have price coming towards the downside. And we can see this trend line liquidity. We had about 4 taps right here. 1, 2, then we had 3, 4, right? So there is a lot of orders sitting below this trend line liquidity. So that may be a target after price mitigates this supply zone. And then we may see price continue towards the downside to that order block. So this push right here, right, this bullish momentum that we just saw, I mean, at the beginning of 2023, it got many people thinking that crypto is ready to go all the way up, right? But from a technical perspective, I think so far we've been able to decipher that, okay, now from the daily and weekly, the overall structure is still bearish. Pretty much price is just doing a pullback, which is this bullish pullback towards the zone. And then we're more likely to see a continuation towards the downside, okay? So I hope I was able to make my point clear, right? If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I mean, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button for me, guys. Let's hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you guys are interested, feel free to join my free Telegram group. The description, the link is in the description below. If you're in need of mentorship, also feel free to let me know. My contact is on the description of the free Telegram group. And I will see you guys on the next one.